Hello, my name's Ellen and I'm a second year History with Archaeology student here at Bangor University. Welcome to the third video in this new series on archaeology. This week's presentation will concentrate on the process of excavation and post-excavation principles and techniques, looking at the study of archaeological finds post-excavation. So to begin, what is the process leading up to excavation? As mentioned in the previous video, research is the first step to any study in archaeology, and there's two ways to do this. The first being desk-based research, and the next being physical research using surveying methods, both intrusive and non-intrusive. More details can be found on this on my previous video. So what are the next steps? So after all the research has been conducted, archaeologists need to determine if there is enough evidence to justify a full excavation, for example, using the evidence from the research made prior. If a decision is yes, that a full excavation is justified, the archaeologist can go forward and excavate. If not, or the excavation is now complete, archaeologists must record and publish all finds. Now going into a bit more detail about excavation. The main objectives of archaeology is to preserve and document the past, increase our understanding of the past and our own human heritage, development and growth in society. The process of excavation goes as follows: recovery, recording, analysis and interpretation. Recovery being finding archaeological evidence within an area of interest. Recording finds appropriately during the excavation process. Analysis, on-site analysis, so a brief study of the archaeological finds using experience in the field. And interpretation, what is the archaeological find? So a very brief process of excavation is to lay out trenches, and then each trench is given a different number, so trench 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C. Then the area is stripped of topsoil or ploughed with machines beforehand to make it easier. And then any deposits, so artefacts, pottery shards, etc., and features, pits or walls are then exposed and excavated with trowels, mattocks, shovels and brushes. As mentioned, recording is essential during excavation, and everything must be given unique numbers for easy identification, and using a variety of different sheets. For example, context registers, photo registers, drawing registers, small find registers, survey book and a site diary. These all help the post-excavation process, which I'll talk about next. Post-excavation is done in 5 steps, similar to the excavation process. So firstly, finds processing, secondary analysis and interpretation, writing and illustration, publication and archiving. So finds processing, basically meaning sorting out the finds found during the excavation. Firstly, cleaning, which should be done as soon as possible, and a thorough examination will be done of the object at this time, and it should be done gently to preserve the condition of the object. Conservation, archaeologists must decide the best way to preserve the object and how it should be stored. Cataloguing, this would be creating a second written record on what is found and that it has been processed. And then storage. Objects should then be stored in the best conditions as decided during the process for best preservation. Secondly, analysis. So during the excavation process, finds are interpreted at the location of excavation. Post-excavation analysis and interpretation is more scientific and primarily used for dating. So this sort of tends to be a repeat process of the excavation process, but so they scientifically sort the objects and they are stored appropriately before analysis. And some objects get sent to labs for analysis, for scientific analysis, and there is a secondary interpretation done on the object found during the excavation process using the analytical finds of the second process analysis. Writing an illustration is the next up, so it's essentially writing up the excavation records from the excavation, so the context registers, photo registers, drawing registers, etc. And an illustration is normally made interpreting what the site was. Publication, so this is then essentially publishing all of step 3, so the writing and illustrations of the excavation, and then archive. All excavated finds are then archived in museums or in storage rooms, and a record is noted on the historic environment record of the excavation. The post-excavation process does require dating of the objects that are found, and there are two main types of dating techniques in archaeology: relative dating and absolute dating. So absolute dating is scientific dating, and it relies on methods that provide the absolute date of archaeological finds. So this type of dating helps clarify the age of the finds accurately. These methods include radiocarbon dating and dendrochronology. Relative dating relies on the analysis of comparative data or the context, for example, geological, regional, or cultural identities, and where the object was found. Relative dating allows archaeologists to order events chronologically, but does not provide the absolute age of an object. Relative dating includes different techniques, but the most common used is soil stratigraphy, analysis, and typology. This is the end of this presentation, and I hope it has given a good introduction into how excavation and how archaeological finds are studied post-excavation. Join me next week for a case study on Anglo-Saxon burials, and I'll see you there.